Panelist Dr. Syed Nasir Hussain, the Congress MP of the Rajya Sabha, who's joining me right now. Mr. Hussain, the government says Parliament is not being allowed to function smoothly because of the opposition. They opine that all discussions will happen, they are ready for it, but it be done within approved limits and decorum of the House. Then why is this obsession of protesting to the point of violation?
I think the government is trying to mislead the nation. It is very clear that the government doesn't wish to discuss any of these issues raised by the opposition. In a parliamentary democracy, it is obvious that the government will come out with its bills, schemes, programs, policies to be discussed in the parliament, and the opposition and all the members of the parliament will have to discuss that. We are ready to discuss that. We have discussed that in the past. We have cooperated with the government in the past. We have even passed certain bills with a consensus in the parliament. But in a parliamentary democracy, the agenda, or if not the agenda, the issues that concern the people of the country, which the opposition wishes to take up, well within the rules of the parliament, will have to be addressed, will have to be discussed, will have to be given time, will have to be accommodated in the business, will have to be listened to. See, both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the MPs are directly or indirectly elected by the people of the country. If the issues concerning the people of the country are not taken up in the parliament, where will you discuss? See, what are the issues we are raising? Issues levying of GST on milk, on curd, on buttermilk, on lassi, on jaggery, on wheat, barley, ragi, honey, wheat flour, food products. And the government says that they will tax only those people who are buying less than 25 kgs. And they will not tax those people who are buying more than 25 kgs. What do you mean by this? That means the poor people who buy less, who doesn't have money to buy more, will be taxed. And rich people who have lots of money to buy more, that is more than 25 kgs, they will not be taxed. The philosophy of this country and the philosophy of most of the developing and the poor countries has been that you tax the rich and then you help the poor.
All right, Mr.
You are
Syed.
taxing the poor and you are promoting the rich here. And then we said that this is the most important thing for which we are asking discussion, and we are asking for a discussion by giving notices well within the rules of the houses. Rule 267 in Rajya Sabha, where I am the whip of my party. Every day about dozen people, about half a dozen MPs
but
are
how
giving
do you justify holding of placards despite these rules being in place?
Now, what do you mean? What do you mean? If the government is not listening, you shouldn't raise slogans. If the government is adamant, arrogant and behaves in a dictatorial way, you don't have a right to protest. Did BJP not protest in the parliament when UPA was in the government? Did UPA didn't accommodate the issues raised by the opposition at that time? So if you don't have a dialogue with the opposition, if you don't want to accommodate the issues raised by the opposition, then how can you run the parliament?
All right, so certainly Parliament as an institution needs to be accountable there.
Dictatorial in nature.
Cross to Nasir Hussain there. Mr. Hussain, there are a slew of issues the opposition is cornering the government on, and one of the top priority being here price rise. You yourself said it. Now the government says it is ready for this discussion. We also heard Mr. Roy say that it is ready for discussion. Just wants the finance minister to recover from COVID. When she's back, the discussion will happen. Then what's the rush? Why not wait? Let the parliamentary business continue and then discuss when she returns.
Shalini, let the country know who has told whom that there will be discussion. Has the chairman in the Rajya Sabha said that there will be discussion? Has the speaker in the parliament, in the Lok Sabha said there will be discussion? Has this been conveyed to the opposition parties? The opposition parties in return, in both the houses, have given notices under particular rules of the house to take up one particular issue and discuss. Has the government agreed for the discussion? No. Had the government agreed, there would have been a discussion. And they go out and tell on the TV debates, they go on claim in the TV channels that they are ready for the discussion. If they are ready for the discussion, tomorrow we will discuss in the morning. Why are they running away from the discussion? If
Okay,
they
let
were
me
ready
take
for the
across-
discussion, whole
let
of
me-
last week was washed out, and already 2 days were lost out. Why we could have discussed? No communication, no meeting, no consensus, no dialogue. One more question to the BJP spokesperson. In both the houses, the opposition parties have been asking for discussion on various issues for the past, from the time from 2014 till now. You give me one instance on which the ruling party has agreed for discussion, has allowed discussion, and discussion taken place.
Okay, so
Please.
let me take a quick word from Mr. Hussain. I know he has a point. Before I go across to Neerja, just one quick word from Mr. Hussain. Go ahead.
Again, the BJP spokesperson has not answered my questions. See, none of the opposition parties, led by the Congress parties, has agreed that they will not raise the issue of price rise, GST on food products. They said we want discussion on this. We said in all party meeting and business advisory committee meeting that we will have discussion. We are ready for discussion on all the bills that have been brought by the government. But first, please take up this issue. Under Rule 267 in Rajya Sabha, it means that you suspend all the business of the day and you take up this issue because this is urgent. This concerns the poor people. This concerns the middle class people of our country. You take up this discussion. We made this point in all party meeting. We made this point in business advisory committee meeting. We gave it in written in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. It is actually the brute majority of the ruling party which is making them so adamant, so arrogant, and so dictatorial. They are speaking about placards. They are speaking about sloganeering. Do they forget what their late leaders Arun Jaitley ji and Sushma Swaraj ji said? They said disruption is the right of the opposition. We are not disrupting here. We are only shouting slogans. We are saying we want discussion. If you are ready for discussion, why didn't you allow discussion for the past 5 + 2, 7 days till today?
All right.
You allow discussion tomorrow morning. We are ready for that.
Okay, so we're
Our
going around.
fight is for discussion.
Okay, Mr.
We have
Hussain,
given
looks
it
like...
in written.
A quick word there again from Mr. Hussain. I know he wanted to make his point. Before I take one final question from each of the panelists there, Mr. Hussain, go ahead, make your point.
Shalin, I for the time being, let me trust and believe the BJP spokesperson that the issue will be taken at the appropriate time. He says that a notice has to be given. Notice is being given every day, both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but not less than 12 MPs every day. So notice is already being given. You ask him, they said the same thing, they did the same thing earlier also. When we asked for a discussion on farm laws, did they ever have a discussion on farm laws? When we asked for a discussion on Pegasus, did they ever have a discussion on Pegasus? When we asked for a discussion on Chinese aggression, incursion, and national security, did they ever have a discussion on that subject? We asked for a discussion on petrol, diesel, and gas prices. Did they have a discussion on that? We asked for discussion on post-COVID and COVID complications. They never had a discussion on that. So every time the opposition asks for a debate or a discussion on an issue which concerns the people of the country, they say at an appropriate time. When will that appropriate time come? See, the notice is given because the issue is urgent.
Okay.
Certain
Let me take that point of appropriate time
wait.
to, yes,
Certain bills can wait.
I will give this opportunity to Mr. Roy to answer your question of appropriate time.
Sharlin, I'll take 30 seconds more.
Okay, fine. Granted, Mr. Hussain, 30 seconds more, go ahead.
We discussed
See, the opposition, Sharlin,
Mr. Roy,
the
just a
opposition
minute,
is ready.
let Mr. Hussain complete his point and then I'll give you time to speak.
but not maybe to the way they want.
Mr. Roy, just give 30 seconds more to Mr. Hussain. He's completing his point and then I'll come to you.
Categorical. There will be no discussion if you continue to disrupt the house. But we discussed COVID, we discussed Chinese aggression.
This is the true face. This
You are
is the
suffering
true
from
face. They
Okay,
don't
I
like
do not
protest.
want to start a
They don't like
disruption
protest. This is the
and
true face
a
of the
disruption
government.
and a chaotic
This
debate
is-
on my
this is their
channel.
arrogance.
Mr.
This is
Mr.
their arrogance.
Hussain, yes, go ahead. You have your 30
Can I
seconds.
finish
Complete
for
your
10
point.
seconds?
Go ahead.
See, I am telling as a whip of the party, forget about this session. We are ready to extend the session. We are ready to sit for more days in the parliament to discuss all the bills that are being brought by the government. But these are real issues. These are urgent issues. These issues cannot wait. The people are suffering. The common man is suffering. Every day when a person gets up, every day when a family gets up, they want milk for the tea. Kids, babies want milk. So for that you are taxing milk, curd and all these essential commodities. So let us have a discussion on this. Let us extend this session. We are ready to sit for another 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We are not afraid of discussion. But why are you hoodwinking and misleading the people of the country by saying you are ready for discussion when you are not? You are not discussed things in the past that have been raised by the opposition parties. You are not ready for discussion even now.
Okay, one
and I
final
say,
word.
Tomorrow
All
morning
right.
you start the discussion. We are ready for discussion.
All right. Once MP then, Mr. Hussain, make your point, make your voice heard. You know, all the dissent and democratic protest. The last word is to you. Uninterrupted functioning of the parliament. Whose responsibility is it?
Charlene, when the BJP was opposition, they used to claim that it is the responsibility of the government to run the house. But we as an responsible opposition would also like to take certain amount of responsibility to run the house. We are ready to debate and discuss every issue that the government brings in. But also as a responsible opposition in the country, we need to take up and raise issues that concerns the people of the country. We need to take up the issues on which the government falters. That is what we are doing. Those issues have to be accommodated, they have to be debated, they have to be discussed. And on GST, my friend from BJP was saying that the members, finance minister of opposition parties agreed to the increase. He should understand and tell the country that the proposal came from the government of India. So even now, if you think that this is wrong, please discuss in the parliament. We will all go ahead and will scrap this GST that is levied on the food products and will save the common man of our country.
On that note, I'm afraid I'll have to wrap up my discussion there. But
coming from stage did not raise this issue in the GST Council meeting. When the chapter has been closed, you are issuing this.
It was all raised.
as
It was the proposal of the finance minister.
In
It
both
was the
Rajya Sabha and
proposal
Lok
of the
Sabha.
union government. It was the proposal brought by the union government.
Why did
okay,
you
so we'll
sign
get
it?
our answers on
And
the
most of
GST
them
once.
opposed it.